Hello and welcome to the Watering Hole. Thanks for checking out this clip. Don't forget to like and subscribe because that'll make the baby Jesus cry, and I know how much you guys love making the baby Jesus cry. Hello and welcome to my channel. Vice Rhino here, Cirrus over there. I'm just having a momentary feeling of panic. So let me just check. No, just I saw something in the chat that made me think that maybe my stream is not live on YouTube. So I'm going to check. It says that it's live, so I'm going to...
Yeah, I would assume if that's working, then it's fine.
Looks like it's live. I'm just panicking over nothing. So there we go. Olivia Williams.
Hello.
Ya basic. Thanks for joining.
Balls.
And also Fennec the Rabbit, 11-month resubscribe over on Twitch. Thank you for that. 11-month resubscribe means that I've had my Twitch channel for about a year now, at least. Which seems wrong. But here we are.
How did my phone fall? Where even was it? Right.
I don't know.
I don't know what's going on anymore.
That makes two of us. Speaking of not knowing what's going on, first up in the news items that we're not really covering tonight, the Harris interview on Fox.
Yeah, I was trying to watch it before the stream, and I understand what it means to play to an audience, especially to speak primarily to a conservative audience. I'm used to that in Georgia. There are so many non-answers given when the direct answer would have been better and more efficient during that interview. Okay, the part that I was just on was where the dude was asking her, hey, why do you think so many people like Trump? The answer to that is super simple. Propaganda works.
Yeah.
That's it. That's the answer. There's no more, no less. Propaganda works.
And you are that. Yeah. I agree. However, I think she did a really good job at holding her own while playing to the more conservative audience, and also not giving them very much in the way of soundbite material. Because there were definitely answers that, like, the real answer would have been a much better answer, but she clearly wouldn't be allowed to speak long enough to give the real answer with nuance. So she had to, like with the trans inmates or whatever, like, the real answer there is, well, prisoners are human beings, and human beings have human rights. One of those human rights is healthcare. So if we are going to forcibly detain people in the prison system, we need to provide for their healthcare. Gender-affirming care is healthcare. However, that comes with the soundbite of Kamala Harris saying gender-affirming care is healthcare that Trump will then run in all the attack ads ever.
Yeah.
And then everyone who thinks that kids really are asking for litter boxes in the classrooms will latch onto that and be like, oh, well, yeah, Trump might not be my first choice, but, like, at least he's not getting on the gender.
At least he doesn't like the T slurs.
It's absolutely atrocious that the United States is at a point where you can't just say gender-affirming care is healthcare because, as a politician, because that's apparently a controversial take. But unfortunately, that is the reality of the situation. And you got to remember, like, in that interview, she's talking to Fox viewers. These are the people that are in the conspiracy full, like, they're all the way in. So, like, she's trying to appeal to the less extreme viewers that are over there. But she also knows she has to stick to the conservative side of things, which I fucking hate it. But I think she did a good job considering what it was.
Like, I get it. I 100% get where she's coming from with a lot of that. I just don't have to like it.
Yeah.
And
no, I don't like it either.
I'm lucky that I'm in a position as a content creator where instead of needing to justify any of those things, I can just complain about it and I can be honest about it, because if I was not honest to an audience, then that audience would look at me very funny. Like, that's a very privileged position to be in, all things considered.
Yeah. In other news, Axo showed up in my chat before the stream started, expecting me to not know a penis trivia fact about some animal out in the wild. Barnacles have penises that are 8 times as 10 8 to 10 times as long as their body, which is, as I pointed out, is the longest penis to body ratio in the animal kingdom. Because that's the kind of knowledge that I have just available to me at the drop of a hat.
Just on a whim, you
maybe,
have it.
Axel probably hasn't been with me long enough for this, but I actually once did, as part of my fundraising for Project Share that I do every November, I once did a penis trivia night where I got a bunch of us on stream, and we did penis trivia. I had like 15 questions, all about penises out in the wild, and the barnacle thing was one of them.
Okay.
So, yep, if there's an animal with a weird dick, I know about it.
You know what? I don't know how I'm supposed to feel about that. Uncomfortable, maybe, but
Duct Tape Jake says barnacle tentacle penicle.
look, after the recent leaks from the Pokemon Company, I feel like anybody knowing an uncomfortable amount about animal dicks is a bit of a sign for me to stay a couple inches away, if you know what I mean.
Sure.
Although, thanks to the leaks from the Pokemon Company, we now know that almost every Pokemon is a rapist.
Oh, we got our first hat of the evening. Put my sweater on the hat box.
But considering that Pokemon are animals, that also makes perfect sense.
I don't know. I know nothing about Pokemon dicks. Do they even have dicks? I thought they reproduced by, like, having an egg that nobody sees for a minute.
Well, apparently when the rape happens, nobody sees it too. Because Okay, so do you know what happened with the Pokemon leaks?
I am vaguely aware that there was a leak that involved a bunch of source code for a bunch of games and internal notes and employee information and stuff.
The internal notes showed that there's a lot of Pokemon that just, if they get abused by humans enough, they will just rape the humans. There is a story that was in those leaks of a bunch of slack-off that just bred with a human because the human kept on like going out and hunting and killing slack-off.
Well, Rosina pre-Yiddish math tutor Keller says Vice Rhino loves penis facts. I do. Penises are weird, and I like weird things. Okay. Moving the conversation away from Pokemon dicks. Next news item that we're not really covering, but I would feel weird not talking about it. Trump having a 38-minute music party.
Oh, I saw that where he was just kind of standing there creepily.
Do you know what happened? Like, do you know the full lead up to where?
No, I don't.
Okay, so he's in a town hall, supposed to be people in the audience asking him questions. Someone faints. Call for medic, whatever, blah, 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 whatever. As they're waiting for the medic to get to him, he like goes to a sound guy who I guess his sound guy was named Justin. So he like just, it was really weird for me watching that to hear Trump say, "Justin, play Ave Maria." So like while they were waiting for medical attention for someone who fainted because of the heat, he's playing Ave Maria. And then after that was all done, I think he took one more question. Someone else fainted. To which his response was, "Justin, play Ave Maria again." So as they're waiting for that guy to get taken care of, they're playing Ave Maria again. After that happens, he then is like, "Hey, you know what? Nobody really wants to hear questions or whatever, so let's just like listen to some music." At which point his teleprompters showed up. So like, what's her face? Christy Gnome, puppy killer. She was like trying to get him to, "Oh, let's just do 2 more questions." Like, "Yeah, okay, we can do your music thing, but let's just do 2 more questions." And then he ignored her. And at that point, one of the cameras picked up his teleprompter had written on it, "Please do 2 more questions before you start music." So like his staff was literally begging him to not do that because they knew how bad it was going to look. And then he just stood there playing, I guess, his Spotify playlist. And it started with, like, they played a version of Ave Maria that I guess he didn't like. So he's like, "Oh, let's get the one with Pavarotti singing it. Let's play Pavarotti singing Ave Maria." And yeah, then it just went from there to, like, all like a random assortment of, I guess, his Spotify playlist, and he just stood there, occasionally like swaying back and forth to the music. And yeah, it was weird. It was like, fucking weird.
Don't get me wrong. I've done exactly that to my stream, making them listen to music from the Sonic the Hedgehog series. But I feel like when I do it, it's less creepy old man. For now, I'll get older and it will be.
Yeah, but also, like, I don't imagine you do that when you are at an event where you are supposed to be available for questions, like direct questions from your audience.
No, not generally.
And you especially wouldn't do that if that event was part of you campaigning to be the most powerful person on the planet.
Again, not generally. The last time I was at a big event where I was one of the people that it was
from
for.
Hunchback. Do they have Ave Maria and Hunchback?
Believe so. Hold on.
No, I'm thinking like there is a Gregorian chant that they do leading into Esmeralda's song. I don't think it's Ave Maria though. Hellfire is a good song, also not Ave Maria. Why is everybody saying Hellfire? That is not even close to Ave Maria. It's one of the best fucking...
Wait, no, Ave Maria is in Hunchback.
Like the actual Ave Maria, or do they have Ave Maria as one of the chants in the background of Hellfire? Because I know there's a bunch of Latin going on there.
No, it's an exchange from Frollo to Quasimodo. Yeah, no, it's in Hunchback.
It's Beata Maria, not Ave Maria. Beata Maria, you know I am a righteous man. I'm not going to sing. We did that last time.
Technically, we didn't do it live last time.
No, but
also,
we had the link.
Paladin Lost, thank you for resubscribing. Nixie Chan, thank you for resubscribing. Gideon Wells, Spectacular. Why was it so hard for me to pronounce spectacular? What? And Jassa Proxy, thank you all as well. Zan says, here comes the copyright strike. They can fucking try.
I didn't sing enough of it well enough to get a copyright. EB the Nerd, am I the only one who didn't mind the gargoyles from Hunchback? Okay, so I love Hunchback of Notre Dame. I know the gargoyles are over the top too much. It's tonally an issue for the movie, but I also don't mind them because I feel like the rest of the movie is strong enough that it makes up for it. And I know that's my Disney hot take, is that Hunchback is good actually. But like a big part of that is the music. Like Hellfire fucking slaps. And like the Bells of Notre Dame, I mean, okay. It is the Disney children's movie that has the most racial slurs just said in it.
I mean, it does.
But
does.
Also,
I want to also say during that time, that wasn't as considered to be that way for general populace.
No. Even still, I think most people don't think that it has the same impact as the N-word.
Yeah.
It's like, that's definitely not one that I'm going to be saying anytime soon, but like when I think of showing my kids that movie, I would have a worse thought about like having, like, if there was some kid's cartoon that was using the N-word all over the place just to describe people in it, and not making a point of saying, oh, like, oh yeah, this is a bad way to refer to them.
Yeah, if you want that.
Rosina's asking, did you both ever do that duet you promised on a previous stream? Yes, we did. We linked to it on the last one. It is the pinned comment of my YouTube video of last week's stream, so if you need to find it, you can go do it that way. I will not be facilitating that anymore because we're garbage.
Yeah. Also, fun fact, when we were setting up for that, I completely fucked up. I practiced a different song leading up to it. So then I went in effectively with no ability.
To be fair, you did practice the song that we have spoken about duetting most. That just isn't the one that they paid us for.
It's true. It's true. I still made many mistakes. And I am upset with myself.
It's okay.
I was stressed.
I sang over one of your lines.
We and you specifically said that you would not be re-recording it because fuck me.
Yeah. Okay, so yeah, Trump had a 38-minute music party. Next up, we also had Trump in several different places. He called for the military to be used against Americans, the National Guard and Americans, calling them the enemy within. At one point, he singled out both Adam Schiff and Nancy Pelosi as people who would be targets of that action.
God, I'm so thrilled to be living in America,
And
where
like,
slowly it's getting worse and worse.
oh, I actually have I have a clip of I don't remember what.
I
here
think
we go.
the
Yeah,
bigger
this-
problem is the enemy from within, not even the people that have come in and destroying our country. By the way, totally destroying our country. The towns, the villages, they're being inundated. But I don't think they're the problem in terms of election day. I think the bigger problem are the people from within. We have some very bad people. We have some sick people, radical left lunatics. And I think they're and it should be very easily handled by, if necessary, by National Guard, or if really necessary, by the military, because they can't let that happen.
Now-
Yay! God, I love hearing somebody say that I need to just be handled by the military.
They're trying to spin that as him talking specifically about riots, but there have been other places where he's made it very clear that he's talking about his political opponents.
Yeah, what the fuck do they consider a radical leftist? Because like that's just anybody that doesn't like capitalism to them.
And going back to Harris's interview, they asked Harris about this, and they tried to pull that like, oh no, he was just talking about the National Guard or whatever. And this is the moment that I think Harris did the best in the debate. I'm calling it a debate, kind of was. But yeah.
If he's as bad as you say, that half of this country is now supporting this person who could be the 47th president of the United States, why is that happening?
This is an election for president of the United States. It's not supposed to be easy.
I know, but
It's
if
not supposed to be. It is not supposed to be a
so
cakewalk
are they misguided,
for
the
anyone.
50%?
Listen,
Are they stupid? What is
God,
it?
I would never say that about the American people. And in fact,
would.
if you listen to Donald Trump, if you watch any
You're
of
not
his
running for
rallies,
president.
he's the one who tends to demean and belittle and diminish the American people. He's the one who talks about an enemy within, an enemy within, talking about the American people, suggesting he would turn the American military on the American people.
We asked that question to the former president today. Harris Faulkner had a town hall, and this is how he responded.
I heard about that. They were saying I was like threatening. I'm not threatening anybody. They're the ones doing the threatening. They do phony investigations. I've been investigated more than Alphonse Capone. He was the greatest gangster. No, it's true.
I've been investigated more than Al Capone. No, the fuck you haven't.
So,
Brett, I'm sorry, and with all due respect, that clip was not what he has been saying about the enemy within that he has repeated when he's speaking about the American people. That's not what you just showed.
he was asked
No,
about
Al
no,
Capone.
no, that's not what you just showed. In all
No,
fairness and
I'm telling
respect
you,
to
that was the question that we asked him.
you didn't show that, and here's the bottom line. He has repeated it many times, and you and I both know that. And you and I both know that he has talked about turning the American military on the American people. He has talked about going after people who are engaged in peaceful protest. He has talked about
he's actually done
locking
that.
people up because they disagree with him.
He
This is
smoke
a
bombed a fucking church.
democracy. And in a democracy, the president of the United States, in the United States of America, should be willing to be able to handle criticism without saying he'd lock people up for doing it. And this is what is at stake, which is why you have someone like the former chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff saying what Mark Milley has said about Donald Trump being a threat to the United States of America.
He's quoted in the Bob Woodward book that way, yes. Let me ask.
Yeah, so I think Harris knocked that one out of the park. I also like that they tried to do that thing that people keep doing with Trump supporters, where like they'll quote Trump and then the Trump supporter will be, oh, he never said that. Oh, really? He never said. Play the clip, and then they'll just play the clip of Trump saying that. It's like they tried to do that, but it didn't quite work since Trump never actually clarified that he didn't mean turning the military on the American people.
No, he literally just said, no. That's what they're doing.
Yeah.
That's what they're saying.
and then he went off on a tangent that was unrelated, because that's what Trump does. He doesn't know how to stick to a topic. But yeah, so it's frightening that we're living in a time where one of the major candidates for president who has a not zero chance of winning is actually threatening to use the military against Americans who disagree with him.
Yep.
Now, in all the stuff that's been, like, most of this is news that's I've become aware of today, and throughout all this, I had a bit of an epiphany regarding Trump and tariffs. I think I understand why Trump seems incapable of understanding why tariffs would, like, raise prices for things. It's because if you look at what we know about the Trump Bible, by the time that Bible hits American soil, it costs him $2. He then jacks up the price to $60 and makes a massive profit. You slap a 200% tariff on those Bibles, if he doesn't change the price, his profit margin is still 900%. So from his perspective, now, don't get me wrong, you slap a tariff on that, he absolutely would raise the price and blame the tariffs for it. But from his perspective, he's like, oh yeah, no, I could still make bank even if I don't raise the price. So yeah, no, tariffs don't raise the price.
Well, because it's impossible for him to consider the perspective of anybody who's not also Donald Trump.
Yeah, so like he doesn't understand the idea of, like, he's talking about car manufacturing, how like they make the cars in Mexico. Okay, making a car is, there's so much involved in that is not just putting the car together in the factory. That, like, they're just between the Canadian and American border, in order to make a car in the USA, there are parts that cross the border like 15 times before it makes it to the final factory that actually puts the car together, which he said was work that a child could do at a recent event.
Do you want a child putting your car together?
No. You know what? I think a child put my van together, the last one that I had that I got rid of.
Mm-hmm.
I could see that being why we had so many issues with that, but yeah, no, like a child could not put a car together, and in order to get the parts there, it crosses the border so many times. Now, every time it crosses the border, when it comes back, it's got a 200% tariff on it. That's going to, like, that's going to massively affect the price. Even more on the Trump Bible, with Oklahoma paying $30 more than the listed price. What? Are they paying $90 for the Trump Bibles? God, I hope that gets squished in the courts. It's not going to, but come on.
Yeah, I hope similar.
Right.
I would hope similar.
So that was my epiphany about Trump and tariffs. That, like, he doesn't understand the idea that a company is not already charging such a high markup that another 200% can just be eaten up by their profits without changing the price.
I mean, again, it makes perfect sense that he wouldn't be able to figure that out, though. Because, again, this is a person who does not consider perspectives outside of his own. This is a person who is categorically unable to experience empathy.
Yeah, so Secular Storm Chaser for $10 says, so since Trump has said he used the military against the internal enemy, is it at best false where he's signaling to those who believe the deep state, or worse, he's actually going after Americans? Yeah, no, he's actually planning on going after Americans. Like, he's named at least a couple of them. Adam Schiff and Nancy Pelosi are two that he has actually named as people he's going to go after with the military or National Guard. Funnily enough, regarding the deep state, Project 2025 is literally the Republican plan for instituting a deep state. Like, every accusation is a confession. We want a deep state. This is how we do it.
If you get rid of every single person who is a careered official and you replace them instead with people who are not experts in their field anymore, but people who are just loyalists to a single person, in what way is that not just creating a deep state? What way is that not
effectively a deep state? It's
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm also we're not going to cover the swastika flags that were being flown during the Trump boat event, the boat rally.
If you go to an event and you see this flag and nobody is taking it down, congratulations, you're at a Nazi event.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, I saw that in context of a tweet that was like, hey, if you're still undecided in this election, here's a helpful voting guide. Step 1, figure out which candidate the Nazis are supporting. Step 2, vote for the other one.
Yeah, I like how
It's
recently all the Nazis are coming out of the woodwork to support Asmongold. Weird.
Yeah, no, like if like Trump has the support of Nazis, he uses fascist rhetoric. To say that he's a threat to democracy is not, like, it's not unwarranted at this point. Although, once again, it's really amusing to me that they'll say that, like, oh, calling Trump a threat to democracy is literally calling for violence against him, and then Trump will actually use the term threat to democracy when talking about Kamala Harris. So it's like, if you're going to be consistent and calling someone a threat to democracy is a call for violence, you are literally calling for violence against your political opponent. Like there's no other way to interpret that.
Yeah.
Now, I disagree. I say calling someone who is actually a threat to democracy is not a call for violence.
It's
not
calling
inherently.
a spade.
Yeah. Now, that being said, I also understand that contextually it can be a call to violence. For instance, the way Trump uses it. Knowing that his supporters are who they are.
Well, there are very fine people on both sides, Rhino, just so you know.
Ninjester says, be like the Blues Brothers, hate Illinois Nazis. Agree. And Rosina said David Duke endorsed Jill Stein. I mean...
I, too, enjoy endorsing useless people. I mean, what?
Content 83 gifted a sub to someone. I haven't seen who yet. So thank you for gifting the sub. Oh yeah, this one's not in my notes, but I'm also not covering the supposed assassination attempt that they're talking about now. It's like, no, they just arrested a guy that showed up with guns. Like, there being guns in the proximity of a Republican event just says that there's Republicans there who like the Second Amendment. Like, that's not...
Which means they just have Republicans there.
Yeah, like, well, this guy's affiliated with the Libertarians. Like, he's a Republican libertarian. It's like, yeah, those are the kind of people you would expect to have a bunch of guns on them. That doesn't mean he was going there to kill Trump. But, yeah, but, and, like, even if he was, this once again, hey, who is it that's been trying to assassinate Trump? It's been Republicans every single time.
Altfax has no YouTube stream service, so I haven't re-enabled Restream yet. I need to, but Restream has been very, very funky lately on my end, and I don't have the spoons to fuck with it.
Sounds like a skill issue.
Oh, 100% is. I've never said I'm a good streamer. I'm just a streamer that got very lucky.
Another news item we're not really covering. This is good news, so I wanted to talk about it. A judge in Georgia ruled that local election officials do not have the power to refuse to certify results. The process is mandatory and deadlines must be met.
Oh, yeah, I did see that. That makes me very excited.
Yeah, and it was a Republican-appointed judge. Although it's the same one that oversaw the grand jury that indicted Trump, so I don't feel like the Trumpers are going to really accept that he's a Republican-appointed judge. He's from back in the era where we didn't really care whether it was a Republican or a Democrat that appointed a judge. You just appointed the people who were qualified to be judges.
Yeah, but now we need to make sure that we get rid of that pesky Roe versus Wade.
Yeah. And related to that, early voting in Georgia has hit record levels by, like, a lot. Last I heard, it was like 150% higher than the previous record.
Also very good.
That is good, because when turnout is high, Republicans lose.
Yup.
And Rosina says, yay for Georgia courts this time. That is, yeah, Georgia courts doing a good thing is not a common occurrence on this show. It's usually the exact opposite.
Yeah, they kind of suck usually.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, well.
Oh, we got someone gifting a bunch, so there's going to be a bunch of oohs coming.
Ravi says, I like rusty spoons. I like salad fingers, too. Oh, whoa.
I don't like salad fingers.
You don't like the feeling of the nettles on your teeth?
Oh no, this was... Okay, no, it's not Twitch gifting subs. This is Rosina gifted 5 memberships. So thank you, Rosina, for gifting those 5 memberships.
Oh, whoa.
We'll have to we'll have to wait out all the oohs.
You did this. Oh, whoa.
I did this once because I thought it was funny, and then because I'm lazy, I haven't changed it.
And now here we are.
Now here we are. Yep. I still have the button. Oh, wrong button.
No, that's the right one.
I'm just picturing Emperor's New Groove. Pull the lever, Kronk! Wrong
lever! Oh, whoa.
There it is.
Oh, whoa.
Ooh, small beans, little babies.
Okay. Shall we do...
I've been introducing Saki to H-Bomber guy, and she's gone, oh my god, his videos are hilarious. How often does he put one out?
I mean, he was putting out several a year 7 years ago.
Yeah, but that was back when he was doing, like, video game analysis.
Yeah, but it's not like it was not in-depth analysis. Like when you have a 2.5 hour video on fucking Pathologic the game that takes you like 4 days to play through, and he plays through it 5 times so he can get all the different endings.
Yeah. Oh no, they were certainly extensive back then too. It's just what he does now requires even more research than that.
True. Yes.
I still think he probably has what I would now consider the definitive video on the anti-vax movement.
Yep. Yeah.
Like,
every time I think about like, hey, maybe I should go through the Wakefield study, I'm like, nope. H-Bomber guy did it way better than I ever would.
Yeah.
I would not have caught all those little connections.
I do not have the required skill nor the required tism.
Side note to this, I am getting really fucking annoyed at all the discussion happening around Ozempic and treating it as though it is just a weight loss drug. It's like everybody is like, oh, you don't need Ozempic, you can just like diet and exercise or whatever. It's like, okay, well, first off, there are genetic factors and hormonal factors and things that go into technically speaking, weight loss is, yes, 100% just a calculation of calories in versus calories out. However, if your body is physically unable to process your stored fats and sugars, then you can be obese and starving at the same time.
Mm-hmm. So
it's not that simple. Like, yeah, you'll lose weight if you starve yourself, but it's not going to be healthy. And Ozempic was, it was originally developed as a diabetes drug. It keeps your blood sugar levels down. My partner uses it to keep her blood sugar levels down. She is not upset about the weight loss, but that's not why she's on it. And it's fucking frustrating that like all the dialogue about Ozempic is about like how it's a fashion drug that people are using because it's easy weight loss and you're skipping the gym, or it was like, okay, yeah, but what about like, because the metformin wasn't enough for her to keep her blood sugar down, so she's on Ozempic because that helps a lot. It's like, why are you guys lumping her in with the people that are on Ozempic because they're too lazy to work out or whatever?
I don't know if it's necessarily that people are being lumped in there. I feel like that might be taking a non-personal conversation and making it personal.
Well, I feel like the dialogue surrounding Ozempic right now is mostly about how nobody needs Ozempic. And I feel like that is harmful. There's now being a stigma attached to Ozempic. So people who actually do need it for their diabetes, it's like it was developed as a diabetes treatment. Using it for weight loss is actually an off-label use. It's not approved by the FDA for that. It's not approved by the Canadian version of the FDA. It's just something that like that's a side effect. So people are using it for that. So oh, here we go. Hitchmeister. I thought the problem with people using it for weight loss was taking it away from people who need it for blood sugar control. I didn't even think of that. But yeah, that could be an issue as well with supply if everybody's using it for weight loss instead of diabetes.
Also, I will just say, as far as
And Rosina's pointing out many of the positive effects of Ozempic precede the weight loss. Super neat. So,
I would also say, I don't like this argument. I don't like the zero-sum game of medications argument, because that means that there is a problem that instead of solving, we have decided to point fingers at each other instead of solving, right? So as an example, let's say you have somebody who is 400 pounds. This person is unable to lose weight easily because of a myriad of factors, right? If you're at 400 pounds, your ability to lose weight is very low because your stamina is naturally going to be very low. It's going to be very hard. Your body is conditioned to eating a certain amount of calories. I actually have a friend who's like 450 pounds, and the same app that I use, MyFitnessPal, for tracking my calories, when he used that app to calculate his calories, it had him at like 3,300 calories for losing weight. He has to consume twice as much as I do as a bare minimum just to keep going. And if you've got even a single factor where with your body that you don't understand, it is very likely that consuming that would actually just put you at a maintenance weight. So for those people, Ozempic as a weight loss option is very, very good. It's very, very helpful. There is nothing where if we are willing to accept that obesity is an epidemic in the United States, then we are also willing to accept that the cure for epidemics is often medical.
Yeah. So I was headed in that direction eventually. One of the things I was going to bring up is that obesity is itself a strain on the healthcare system. So like, even if people are just using it to lose weight,
that's not a bad thing.
Even if you're using it to lose weight because you're not going to the gym and you'd rather take a shot every week than go to the gym. If you're going to be healthier as a result of that, why is that a bad thing?
Going to the gym also, fun fact, going to the gym doesn't make you lose that much weight.
No.
It fucking doesn't.
It's mostly about the diet.
It is mostly about the diet. If you are losing weight, it is 80% diet, 20% the calories that you burn at the gym. Because when you're at the gym, all you are burning is immediate glucose. You are taking glucose that your body is immediately utilizing, and you are burning that. You are not grabbing fat stores. That is not what the gym is doing. Your fat stores are being consumed.
I will flip off the camera like you request when we're done with the weight loss talk.
Fat stores generally get consumed when your body is at rest. It is also when your body consumes the majority of its calories in general. Now, there are benefits to going to the gym. I go to the gym. Going to the gym makes me feel healthier, and to a degree, when you start converting some of your body into muscle mass does consume more calories in order to maintain. But this comes with a slight problem that you have to maintain the muscle mass as well. So you just end up having to go to the gym even more in order to keep that benefit. But the actual going to the gym, the actual like, oh, you burned 500 calories at the gym, that's a fucking spook. That's not really how weight loss works. Most of it is going to be based off of how your body processes and metabolizes things.
Yeah, absolutely. So like, that's a side discussion that is related to this news item. I just wanted to bring it up because every time I see people talking shit about Ozempic, I'm just like, yeah, but why? Like, no, if it's not for you, it's not for you. Fine, don't take it. But like, that doesn't mean you got to shit on people who do.
Like, if it helps somebody lose weight, that should be enough. That should be fine. You would not tell anybody with any other affliction at all. You would not shame them for using a medication to help. If somebody gets hit by a car,
Cirrus, I'm just going to correct you on this. There is an entire industry revolving around shaming people for taking medication for mental health issues.
Yeah, it's called the conservative media industry. You're right. Sorry.
Yeah, well, there's that, and there's people offering pseudoscientific healing stuff or what's it called, that homeopathic shit.
Yeah, no, you're right. There is an industry, but see, the thing is, with those industries, though, what they're trying to do is sell you a fake substitute to the real thing. They are trying to ape the real thing. I had a friend talk to me today who is struggling with weight issues, and the only things that I could really say were like, hey, maybe it would be a good
Sean,
idea.
no, take it back. We're still going.
Like, maybe it would be a good idea to go out and walk for an hour a day and then track your calories. Not even consume any less, just be cognizant of what you are intaking, and also try to go outside and walk a little bit. The tiny baby steps that anybody would need to do in order to start being healthy. That's not a substitute. Like, if Ozempic was an option, then that would be the one that I would just be like, yeah, no, just grab that thing. Grab that thing. It's gonna help a lot towards this.
Okay, let's move on from this now. Fennec, you can come back. Lord of Uzclack says, is it Canadian superiority when it's based on the UK parliamentary system? Yeah, if the system is better, then it is better, whether it is the Canadian version or the UK version, regardless of where it originates.
I need you to never do that again, please. I will beg you not to do that again, because I fucking... Oh, there, you got your thing. You got your thing.
Oh.
Now, just fuck off.
Editors know every time Cirrus does that, you need to pull the audio from that and send it to me, please.
Editor's note for the person who's not paying you. Don't do that.
I have an invoice I have to pay. I should probably do that. Oh, speaking of, like, okay, this... My brain just connected like 6 dots, so I'm sorry that this feels like it's out of left field. But Cirrus, have you voted yet? Because Georgia has done early voting.
No, I usually vote day of.
Okay. As long as you actually vote. Don't be one of those people that encourages people to vote and then doesn't do it themselves.
That is not a thing I'm going to be doing.
Okay, good. Oh, this is something that I meant to mention before, but like when we went on our EV rant before. So I'm not blind to the problems that EVs have. So like if you're in an area that gets a lot of flooding, specifically saltwater flooding, that can be dangerous. If the salt water gets into the battery, that can start a fire that is basically impossible to put out. So yeah, like EVs with lithium batteries are not necessarily always the best option, depending on your scenario. But for my scenario, EVs are great. I love not going to the gas station.
I also like EVs. My favorite one is Vaporeon.
I don't get that reference.
I'm sad you don't get that reference, but that's okay.
So,
but why do you think that 50% of the nation wants to vote for him? Why do you think that?
I am hard on crime. I follow the law.
And you'll continue following the law into your presidency.
Into my presidency, yep. Yes, I'm not happy with that answer either, but she did very well at not giving them sound bites. In order to actually make her sound bad, they're going to have to pull longer clips, and we know they don't have the attention span for that.
Harris is very, very good in interviews. Not interviews, in debates. She's not very good in interviews.
I mean, she is good in interviews, just not necessarily that one. And yeah, I would argue that she was good in that one.
I don't think she's been good in any of the interviews that she's been in. I think she's been very mediocre in every interview. Her best times are times where she's in confrontation.
Okay. Apparently I said hard on. I don't remember saying that hard on, but that sounds like something I would say. Hard on.
Hard on.
It sounds like the kind of thing I would be likely to say.
It's the subconscious hard on.
I get those all the time. Does Morningwood count as a subconscious hard on?
I think so.
Yeah, okay. So it's like
I would count it as a subconscious hard on.
So every day. Oh, I said hard on crime. I have a hard on for crime.
Justice.
Justice makes me hard. I'm Batman. Yeah, other false claims that have circulated include that people taking federal relief money could see their land seized, or that the 750 is the most they'll ever get to rebuild, which are both false. Femid, someone 11 bits said, 11 justice, I'm hard for you. Wait, was the 11 part of the message, or is that just how many bits you cheered? So justice, I'm hard for you. That makes more sense than 11 justice, unless that's a reference.
I'm hard for 11 justices.
I want 11 justice.
It would be better than the 9 we have.
Yeah, no, 11 justices. Come on, Biden, get on that. I'd get hard for 11 justices.
I like how he hasn't done anything towards that at all, despite saying he would.
Yeah, I mean, in fairness, even if he did anything, he wouldn't, like, it wouldn't pass muster, because, like, I don't know. What about 11 Justins? It depends on the Justins. Are we cloning me 10 times? Or are we, like, finding 10 more people named Justin?
Is it?
Because most people named Justin are assholes.
Is this just going to be that one Fallout vault with all the Garys in it? Gary! Gary!
Yeah. Back to H-Bomber Guy. The only reason I understand that reference is because he mentions that in one of his Fallout videos.
I like that the Garys are now Magic the Gathering cards, because we had a Fallout set that came out.
Okay.
So apparently the Magic designers also really like the Gary vault.
Fennec apparently knows two more Justins beside me that are both lovely.
Stoff says just incest.
Just incest? Yeah, okay. I mean, people ask the question, like, oh, if you clone yourself and then have sex with it, is that gay sex or masturbation? I'm like, I don't care, but I'm doing it. I don't care what I don't care what the answer to that question is. I'm doing it. Why would I not? I know everything that I like. I would be my best lover.
There's nobody who's going to know what you like more than you.
Yeah. So I'm going to be my best lover. So I will have all the gay masturbation and clone sex. That's a clippable moment right there. Just me saying I will have all the gay masturbation clone sex. Rosina says, you thinking you'd want to do yourself while not realizing you can't stand your own stank is peak perverts. What if I like my stank?
What if I don't have a stank because I have good hygiene?
I wash my ass, goddammit.
Look, I'm
not a human toilet like Donald Trump.
I've been in enough card shops that I am perfectly willing to say I will never lose a game of Magic the Gathering to a man with an unwashed ass.
Okay.
Mostly because he'll never be at my fucking table.
So
Shasha says I just have fresh stank, Cirrus. Ah, yes, the smell of freshly ironed linen sheets.
After sex, everything smells like sweaty ass.
Yeah, that's why you shower after sex.
Yeah, I am aware of that. But there is a time period where you will smell the stank.
I guess.
Okay. Hey, we're making good time tonight. What's wrong with us?
I think it's the fact that we're both tired and mostly of politics. I think both of us are going to be very happy when politics gets boring.
Oh, I can't wait. I can't wait for Kamala to win and for me to stop caring who the fuck the president of the United States is.
Yeah, same.
My concern, like, Trump is old, and I'm very concerned that when he dies, like, it doesn't matter how he dies, there's going to be a conspiracy theory about how the liberals killed him.
I mean, yeah, they're just going to say the Clintons did it.
I am so fucking concerned about that. It's like, I want him to see time in jail for his crimes. With the Supreme Court, it's looking less and less likely that that's actually going to happen. But at this point, I'm just kind of hoping that, like, I'm hoping that it happens after the election, because if it happens before, then everybody's going to be like, oh no, he's deteriorating very, very rapidly. So, like, if he's got dementia, that's a big downhill, and it could potentially spell the end for him very soon. Obviously I'm not a doctor. I'm just speaking from, like, my experience with my grandmother who had dementia.
Yeah.
So like, I don't know, but like if he dies before the election, then it's going to be like this massive outcry from the MAGA people. If he dies after the election, there's still going to be a massive outcry or whatever, but because it's after the election, it won't have the same momentum. It won't spark the same kind of movement that it has the potential to if it happens before, if that makes sense. So like,
Ryu in my chat says that his dad and grandpa both have it and died from complications from it.
And the fact that he's in denial about it means that he might not be seeking treatment, which means it might come earlier. And I'm not going to pretend like I'm going to be upset when it happens.
No,
I will be
won't
very
either.
happy about it, but like, I'm very concerned about the fallout from it. But also, like, if he gets elected, you're essentially voting for JD Vance as president, and that is almost as scary as Donald Trump.
I'd say it's actually more scary because
he actually
JD is competent.
Well, I wouldn't go so far as to say he is competent. I was going to say he has a degree of competency that is lacking in Trump.
No, he has a degree in competency because he actually does have a degree.
Yeah, and he's bankrolled by Peter Thiel. So, yeah, no, it's concerning, but hopefully, if he loses this election, then hopefully we just won't have to deal with him ever again.
That would be the hope.
That is the ideal.
God damn it, Crazy Maiden. I didn't even notice that you had a fucking whoop there. It completely skimped my mind, probably because I'm used to forgetting that those are a thing. You know, for my own brain's sake.
Yeah.